We get together in this place today to honor Pastor Ken Huffman for 50 years of service in the ministry of the Church of the Nazarene. I want you to reflect on that for a moment. 50 years. There's been a lot of changes in a lot of people's life in the last 50 years. Think about it. Think about all of the things that are different now than were then. Now, if memory puts me right, that puts it about 1962. 1962. CDs were not invented in 1962. In fact, you were probably still listening to your 33 1/3. And for many of us in the room, and I need to confess here, in 1962, I was not even a twinkle in my parents' eyes because they weren't even together yet. But for many of you, the hair was a lot less gray in 1962 than it was. A lot of things have happened over the last 50 years, and it is a testimony for Pastor Ken to have endured 50 years in ministry and succeeded in 50 years of ministry. Because each one of you in this room this morning and so many others are testament to his faithfulness in answering the call that God has placed on his life. So we want to honor him today. Ken, can I have you join me up here? This is so inadequate to recognize 50 years of ministry, but it's all that most of us can think of. Ken, we want to give you a plaque this morning that recognizes 50 years. And I'm going to read it to you all so you know what it says. At the top it quotes Matthew 25:21. Well done, good and faithful servant. Presented to Reverend Kenneth E. Huffman in recognition of 50 years of pastoral ministry, August 5th, 1962 through August 5th, 2012 in the Church of the Nazarene at Wareham, Massachusetts, Wilmington, New York, Millinocket, Maine, Easton, Maryland, Milford, Delaware. Presented by the Milford Church of the Nazarene, August 5th, 2012. And it's my prayer throughout the day that you personally will honor and bless him because of what he's done in your life. Ken, it is a blessing to have you a part of this church, to follow you for the second time in my ministry, and see what God is continuing to do through you. Looking forward.
Thank you. 50 years ago today, I was one scared young fellow. It was my first Sunday in my first church in Wareham, Massachusetts. In fact, I was still a sergeant in the Air Force. I started my pastoral ministry on August the 5th, and I didn't get discharged to go back to school until August 20th. So for 15 days of my pastorate, I was a sergeant in the Air Force, and I was scared to death. I have to say this, if I could go back and change anything, I don't know of anything that I would change. My sons were there. Buddy was 5 and John was 9, and they're here today. And all of you, some of you were there on that first Sunday. Bonnie and Robin were there, and Jim Pettit, who is not here right now but will be, he was there that first Sunday of my first church, because Jim was my first Sunday school superintendent. And his daughters were probably still in pigtails, 8 or 9 years old. It's a privilege for me to be here with you today and to say thank you for all this.